Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. I'm excited. I'm going for lunch with the people that I know from the Magpie editing team. Just in case you're unaware of some of Simon and my shared history, together, Simon and I founded this magazine 22 years ago now, I think, to continue the work of Tough Crosswords by Mike Rich, listener-style crosswords and a numerical crossword every month. You can still get the magazine. If you go to piemag.com, you could see some sample puzzles and maybe even subscribe to that magazine. And every 6 months or so, you get the musings of me in an editorial and one of the other editors each month. So the other editors have included people who've gone on to great crossword success. Shane Shabankare has finished second in the world in the Times Crossword Championship, I think, but has also been the Times Crossword editor subsequently for a considerable interim period of time, many months, before it was taken over by Jason Crampton, who also has been on the Magpie editorial staff and was succeeded onto the Magpie editorial staff by Colin Thomas, who is now assistant editor at the Times and, in big news, has become not quite the new AZ. AZ, who has been doing crosswords in The Observer for about 50 years, has retrenched back to one a month rather than one a week. And Colin's doing the one a week stint. So fantastic. I'm really pleased for those guys. I mean, it's a bit much to claim that Colin is a Magpie alumnus. He's only been working for the Magpie for a few months before he got these jobs, but he's a brilliant constructor in his own right. And yeah, looking forward to seeing some of these guys and others today. So that'll be my day. Now, what else have we got going on? I mean, that's one bit of advertising I don't normally do. The bits I normally do are mentioning Patreon, but the regeneration hunt is over. Don't enter that anymore, please. There will be solution videos out in the next 10 days. They're not ready yet. There's other stuff on Patreon though. There's connections videos, crossword videos. There's a new connections video today, in fact, and do have a look at it. So you can watch me connecting and disconnecting. Right, that's on Patreon. You can also get to Sven's Sudoku pad and support that with the links under the video, and of course all of our apps. They do feature, I think Domino Sudoku might be the most relevant today. It doesn't look like it from the puzzle, but negative constraints will abound. But there's also Fog of War Sudoku and the latest Sudoku Worms by James Sinclair and Marty Sears, so do check those out. Now, this puzzle is by MD88 Keys, who we have featured once on the channel before. It's fresh out, but was recommended immediately to us. I'm going to give it a go today. It's a 7x7, not a normal Sudoku, if you like. It uses the digit 0, so that's not normal. Digits can repeat in cages, so that's not normal. Regions are detached from each other, so that's abnormal. There's a lot of abnormality about. Right, I will go through the rules one by one now, and we will see if we can solve this puzzle called Detached Regions of 7. Fantastic idea by MD88 Keys. Right, place the digits 0 to 6 in every row, column, and 7-cell region. I'm going to highlight this one very, very specifically. Only one marked region has 7 orthogonally connected cells. The 6 remaining regions are split into 2 orthogonally connected groups of cells, e.g. a 2-cell group paired with a 5-cell group. So it might be those, might not. Digits in a cage may repeat and sum to 5. Every cage sums to 5, and you can have repeats in them. Orthogonally adjacent pairs of cells that sum to 10 are marked with an X. All possible X's are given. Orthogonally adjacent pairs of cells that sum to 5 are marked with a V, except for pairs of cells that live within the same cage. all V clues are given. So where a pair of cells crosses a border and sums to 5, there is a V. Now you can see there are no V's written in the grid. So what we deduce is that must never happen. No, hang on, I've misread that. It's pairs of, sorry, I'm so sorry. Pairs of cells that live within the same cage wouldn't have to be marked with a V. So it's not just, well, that would be one place where a V would have to be marked, but even there. So all V clues outside of cages or across cage boundaries are given. Wow. Okay, well, I've understood the rules now. I didn't understand them when I read them first, clearly. I'm going to give it a try. 0 to 6, remember. Give it a try first on that link under the video if you want. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So, okay, where do we start? There is a simple answer. We start with the X. In our regular Sudokus, when we see an X and it adds up to 10, as it does here, there are 4 possible combinations. That is not true in a 0 to 6 puzzle. There's only one. It's got to be a 6-4 pair. Now, this is, let's highlight it in yellow because it is excitingly one region. This is the 7-cell region where they are shown all connected together. And these 3 cells are in this region and they're in a cage that adds up to 5. Now, there's a law of leftover, no, there's not. There's a magic number we can do for a 0 to 6 Sudoku. Every row, column, and region, if we can identify the regions, must add up to the same number. And that number is only 21. It's the 6th triangular number. It adds up 1 to 6, and if you add 0 to that, obviously you're still getting 21. So this region of yellow adds up to 21. Those cells clearly add up to 10. We're told that these cells add up to 5. So these cells add up to 6. And they must be a 1-5 pair because we've used 4. They can't be, and we've used 6. They can't be 6-0 or 4-2. So that they can't be 3-3 in the same row. So they must be 1-5. Now, that means firstly that this cage contains 0, 2, 3. But this cage gets interesting now. This is going to add up to 5. I know we can have repeat digits, but surely we can't have a 5 in the cage already, or these would all have to be 0, and they're all in the same region. You can't have that many repeat digits. So we've got digits in the puzzle after 2 minutes. That's a 1. Now, these add up to not 6, to 4. In 3 digits that can include a 0. Well, mustn't they be 0, 1, 3? They must be 0, 1, 3. Right, and then we can use just ordinary Sudoku principles. We can't have another 1 in the row. We can, therefore, have a 1 there. And there is a repeat digit in the cage, unsurprisingly. This is a 2. Now, this 6-cell region, let's make it red, goes with one of these 1-cell regions, I think, to complete a 7-cell region. But the remaining digits we're allowed in red are 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now this is interesting. This cage cannot have a 1 in it. Isn't that right? Because we've got 1s in both columns 4 and 5. And it's got to add up to 5 with 3 different digits. I think it has to be 0, 2, 3. Now, amongst the things that's going to do, I'll give us 0, 2, 3 in this column as a triple. And that means the rest of the column is 4, 5, and 6. Now, this cage is meant to add to 5. Well, you can't put a 6 in it. And if you were to put a 5 in it, they'd both have to be 0. So that's no good. So we'll put a 4 there and a 1, 0 mélange in the remaining cells. Now I'm going back to this region. Let's make this blue. I've got the primary colours going now. Now these digits are selected from 4, 5, 6, and we've probably, no, it's not quite the same algorithm going here, but this can't be a 5. Oh, it's not the same. No, it is. This cage has to add up to 5. For some reason in my head, I think these cages have to add up to 7, but we've been told they add up to 5. So this now has to be a 4, 1 cage, like that. And we've got a 0, 2, 3 in this row. Oh, that can't be 4. This is the same as that digit, because that's in a trio in that region. Cage doesn't matter because you can have repeat digits in a cage, but it's also a trio in this row. So that digit is the same as this. This 0, 2, 3 means the other things in the row are 4, 5, and 6. Do I know anything about this 4-cell region? I know it's going to be part of a region with a 3-cell region. Yeah, this is tricky about this puzzle. You can't just look at this shape and go, well, it needs a 2, because it's a 6-cell piece, and there's another piece of its region somewhere, so it doesn't need to have a 2. I mean, this is a huge, I haven't even looked at this. This is a 5-cell shape, and it only adds up to 5. The average of digits in this shape is 1. So I think both regions have to have a 0 in this. Well, yeah, I think they do. I think they do, because you can't have 3 1s in it. Okay, well, let's think about the minima. 0 and let's think about the minima without putting a 1 in one of the cages. Here it would be 1, 2, 3. Sorry, without putting a 0 into one of the cages. In this one, it would be 1, 2, 3, and that's already too many. So there must be a 0 in this segment. If you didn't have one here, this would be a 1, 2 pair minimally. And this would be a 0, 1, 2 pair minimally, and that would also add up to 6. Oh, so there is a 0 in that pair of cells. Therefore, this can't be a 0 because of the row. Now there are 2 zeros in this cage. What I've just noticed is that this segment of the cage cannot have a 1 in by Sudoku. So I think now this is minimized. This has to be a 0, 2, and this has to be a 0, 1, 2 group, and they will add up to 5 between them. That is right. That has to work. This is a 0, 1, 2 group. That digit sees 0 and 2 in the row, so that's the 1. And now we've got this weird pattern, and we've got 0, 2 in this column, and the remaining digits in the column are 3 and 6. Now we've got this cage to achieve. This is the last cage to look at. And this has to add up to 5. And again, my brain wanted to say 7. Don't know why. Now, this can't be 1, 4. I was going to say it could be either 2, 3 or 0, 5. But I think there's a problem with 2, 3. If this was a 2, 3 cage, wouldn't both of those cells be 0? They would. So this is a 0, 5 cage. And now we are making real progress because there's a 0, 1 looking at that cell. So that's the 5, that's the 0. This is now 2 and 0. That places the 0 in the top row. This is a 3 by all the powers, I mean by Sudoku. That's not a 5. I haven't been using the negative constraint, and I haven't even been really thinking very hard about connecting red to a red single cell or blue to a blue duo. And maybe we can just carry on doing Sudoku. Although, having used up the cages, that may turn out not to be the case. Well, okay, since I've bothered to think about it suddenly, let's consider, well, okay, first of all, let's colour this. Let's make that green. The two one-cell bits are completions of the red and the green cage in some order. This is a 5-cell region. There is another 5-cell region that's clearly in a different cage. Let's make it pink. So the 2-cell regions are either pink or blue. Well, that's interesting. This one can't be pink because 1, 2, and 0 have already been used in pink. So this has to be a continuation of the blue region, and this is a continuation of the pink region. Okay, well that's good. Then we're going to be left with 2 4s and 2 3s, and they're going to have to go together in some order. But let's do this blue first. So 0, 2, 3 have already appeared in blue, so that must be the 1. And then the other digits to go in blue are going to be 5 and 6, so that must be a 5 or a 6. So now in this row we've got 2, 0, 5, 6. This digit is 3 or 4. I barely even know what region this is in. It can't be a 1 was all I was seeing there. I'm going to have a quick look at red. We need a 4, 5 or 6 to complete red. That's not very helpful. Oh, that 0 is looking at this cell, so that's not a 0. Now in this region, the 0 is in one of those 2 cells, so that's not a 0. So this is just Sudoku we get to do. That's not a 0 because it was already in green. I hadn't seen that. Ah, it's also not a 3 in its row, so that's a 2. Now I was going to say, yes, I am going to say, this is quite an interesting question. Where does 2 go in this row? It can't go in the green shape again because it's already got one. These we have pencil marked to not have a 2 in. That's because of these 2 2s. Now, these 2 cells, you cannot put a 2 in either green or red because both green and red have added 2. So they're ruled out as well, and this must be the 2 in the row. Oh, I didn't need to do all that. I could just have looked at that too, looking at these cells. Well, there we go. 0 is looking down at that cell. 3 is looking up at that cell. These digits are a 1, 3 pair to complete the row. Still not using the negative constraint. I'm quite happy about that because that's just an extra thing to think about. Now, this digit sees 1, 3, 0, 4 in the column, 5, 1 in the row. It's 2 or 6. I was about to say, but its region has already had, but I don't know. If that is the rest of its 7-cell region, it's already had a 2. But I don't know. Okay, let's look at blue. That is a 5, 6 pair. Well, that was an exciting excursion. This cell can't, where's 2 in this column? That's easy now, it's there. Right, so now we know that region or that 4-cell part region does not connect with this 3-cell part region, or there'd be 2 2s in a region. So we can colour up orange there, and this is the other 3-cell piece. That must be orange. And then we can colour this one up as a single final last region. Let's make it grey. And in this region, we've got 0, 1, 2, 4 already placed. This must be a 6. This must be a 3. This must be a 5. Now that becomes a 6. In the blue, we mustn't have another 6. I think we're finishing off. This is a 6 in the column, and therefore it can't be red, because red already had a 6. So this one is the red cell, which is 4 or 5. And now we could use the fact that that's a 4, 5 red pair, one of each, looking at that cell and stopping that being 4 or 5. That must be 1. So then we can finish off green. This is really very neatly done. It's not that hard. I mean, I am going to admit that. This digit is 4 or 5 according to the row. I was going to work that out in a more cumbersome way from those cells, but I don't need to. This is a 3 because it sees those 5 in the column and 0 in the row. That's a 3 in pink, so this becomes not a 3 in pink. And now we very much are finishing off. This is a 4 or 5. This is 4, 5 or 6, but according to the region it's not 6. So the 6 in the top row is there in orange, which completes the digits in that region. I've got some 4 5s to sort out, but I can do 3 and 0 there. Then I can do 4 and 6 here. This surely isn't a deadly pattern of 4 5s, because that's... It is a deadly pattern of 4 5s, I think, except for the negative constraint. So the negative constraint said all V clues that are possible are given. And I think that means that because of this 1, or this 1, these digits can't be 4s. I think they're the 3 5s. And this one says the same story. And that one. And we're not talking about within cages. Yeah, those must all be 5s. And these must all be 4s, which clearly aren't sitting next to 1s anywhere in the puzzle except within a cage in 1, 2 places. And let's just check that 2s aren't sitting next to 3s anywhere in the puzzle except perhaps in a cage. I think not even in a cage is a 2 sitting next to a 3 from what I can see. And then 0 next to 5. That is happening in a cage, because obviously a 2-cell cage has to add to 5. But I don't think it's happening anywhere else. So I think we've obeyed the constraints. Also 6 and 4 next to each other could only happen on the X or in a cage. Yeah, we're all good. These are 4s and we've finished, and that is the solution. I mean, it's not very difficult, that, but it was quite good fun. So thank you very much for the recommendation. I don't remember who that was, but thank you. And MD88 Keys, good work. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again, I hope, tomorrow for more Sudoku. Bye for now.